It's Wednesday morning. It rained all night, so I'm gonna take this ridge up here, still hunt it for the morning hunt. I pulled my trail camera down from way back in here on this ridge, and there was a decent 8-point on there. So you never know, but it's a good day to still hunt because, like I said, it rained and it's walking on the leaves and stuff is quiet. But I got another guy coming today, and the reason I'm gonna hunt this ridge was I get good cell phone service, and he's never really been back to the camp. I gave him directions, but he's supposed to text me when he crosses the bridge. So that way is my cue to, I want to stay on this ridge because I have service. So I get back to the cabin, my service is spotty. So Verizon doesn't work with a hill of beans up here. So, but anyways, season's going so good. We got one hanging on a pole. Well, that's not a bad thing. I just hope it don't get as warm as they say it's supposed to, because I may have to start butchering my deer. But right now it's still froze. But it's 8 o'clock, kind of drizzling, a little bit of fog in the air. So stick with me. I'm gonna still hunt this ridge for about 4 hours. And then hopefully he should be, he left home 5:30. It's like a 6-hour drive. So we'll see what happens. But hope everybody's having fun, having success. But part of the success at deer camp is just being at deer camp. The fun, the camaraderie, and all that stuff goes along with the deer hunt. It's not just the animal killing, it's the whole 9 yards leading up to it. The preparation, the time spent at camp, good fellowship. Now this morning my brother left. Him and I were out here, and that's the first camp we've shared together since our dad passed, which, by the way, was 15 years ago, right around this time. So I'm thinking of him. I was thinking of him the other day when I shot that deer. Believe it or not, think what you want, but I was talking to my dad. I said, send me one, Dad. And it wasn't 10 minutes later, it came out. So that was pretty cool. And then to have my brother with me to share it with me. The only bad thing about it was my battery died on my phone. I couldn't record nothing. So, anyways, but it was neat having him with me to share in the moment. Felt like good times. I haven't shot a deer with him since like 2003, with him being out here with me in camp. So that was a special moment for me and him. And it's just weird. I was talking to my dad, telling him, send me a deer, and when you know it, one came out. So I thought that was cool. So stick with me. We'll be back in a little bit. Well, it's 8:30. Still hunting that ridge. The only thing I've seen is 4 partridge, a fresh pile of bear scat. So I think I'm gonna call this ridge Bear Ridge, because I got numerous trail camera pictures of a big bear. I mean a big bear, probably 400 plus pounds, running this ridge. And this ridge goes for a long ways. Probably a good 2.5 miles. So, that's just my plan today, was to hunt this until Paul gets here, and I'll see what he wants to do if he wants to hunt this afternoon. So, play it by ear. See this ridge? It keeps going. And over on this side, it goes down into a big, thick swamp. A lot of peat moss grass. I tried to walk in there and I sunk into my knees earlier in the fall when I was up here. And it's the same thing over on this side. So really, if you wanted to hunt this ridge, you'd have to use a tree stand. That way back there is back to my truck, back to the main 2-track. But there's really no spot for a ground blind back in here. You'd have to sit in a tree. Because mainly the wind up here is out of the northwest. And right now, I'm looking west. And the deer, I don't know what way they're coming from all the time, because the trail camera picture shows both ways. But they're using this big time. And behind me, it dead ends at like a big lake. A lot of bear sign back behind me on this ridge down by that lake. Back that way, probably another quarter mile is where this ridge ends. I think back in the day they must have used it as a 2-track or something for logging. Something would be my guess. There's some thick stuff down there and down there. So, now there's another ridge over there where that thick stuff connects to is where I shot that deer. It's a big long ridge like this, but there was ample spots for blinds over there. But over here there was nothing. I'd love to hunt this. And a blind, love to do an all-day sit out here. But I don't think it's possible. Well, I'm going back for the afternoon hunt where I shot that deer opening morning, or opening afternoon, I should say, opening evening. My buddy Paul's up. He's hunting in a blind down by the creek over by the cabin. He got all unloaded and put his stuff away, and we're going to our new spots starting tomorrow. So the main reason I came out to this blind this afternoon was to take it down and bring it over back to camp, let it dry out, and then put it on that ridge where I was this morning, still hunting. I found a place to put it over there. But the only thing is I need a southeast wind, east wind to hunt it. But that's probably going to be next week. I'll hunt over there if conditions are right. But I'm going to go in here and probably sit just before dark and then take that blind down and then get out and go back and meet him at camp. So that's it for now. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you a little later. Well, as you can tell, it's still daylight. It's actually 5 after 5. I went in and took that blind down from opening day. That was my plan anyway. I'm glad I did start it early, because when I took it down and tipped it over, the whole bottom of the blind was full of them slimy leeches. There must have been over 100 of them on the blind on the outside, and I noticed they got in on the inside. So I didn't want to get those things in the cabin because I'm going to take it out when I get back and let it dry. But it's right now it's 5:15. The only reason why I'm not doing nothing with my truck right now because somebody went by and I think they're hunting and I don't want to disturb them. But I know it's early, but I went in for the intentions of taking that blind down. I sat there for 3 hours, and I told Paul I'd pick him up. He's hunting in a different spot just for today. And then, like I said, tomorrow we're gonna go in. It's up this road, about 2 more miles, and then it dead ends. And then we're going in by foot into a whole new area. So pretty excited about that. But anyhow, it's day 3. My brother left today. He's gonna come back, I think, when my son and them get up here. And then Paul got here this afternoon. Right now it's 39 degrees out and it's supposed to be getting colder. So if it gets today was pushing it a degree or 2 higher and I probably would have butchered that deer. But they're saying cold temperatures coming tonight. High only 30 tomorrow for the next few days. So I like to see some more of that white stuff on the ground, but it's not in the long-term plans. However, they didn't predict the 3 inches we had for opening day, and we had it till about noon, 1 o'clock, and she started going fast, real fast. So, no, I'm having a good time, and my brother had a good time, and Paul's here for 6 days, so we'll have a good time, him and I. Other than that, that's about a wrap for today. Unless Paul has anything good. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Well, guys, it's November 18th, Thursday. Out in that new spot. But I had a heck of a morning. Not deer-wise, but crossing a ditch to get over here. I slipped and fell in about waist-deep water. And I am soaked from head to toe. I'm going to try to stick it out. It's a little after 8 o'clock. I got stuff hanging in the blind here, trying to dry out with my Mr. Buddy heater. I basically took my gun apart and cleaned it all as best I could. My suit, my whole right side is soaked. The best thing I should have did was went back to camp and change clothes. But I'm gonna see what this Mr. Buddy heater will do about drying my stuff out. It's not doing so bad right now, but my gloves are soaked. And my jacket's soaked on the one side. My bibs are soaked. But I got the Mr. Buddy heater on the side of me. And it's doing its job. And the heat rises, so I got stuff hanging up here in the blind. But it's not too bad. We left the truck, it was 34. But the wind's blowing a little bit. They said it was supposed to get up to 20-mile-an-hour winds today. So, and Paul, he's at his spot, about 3/4 of a mile north of me right now. So I'm gonna stick it out as long as I can. We're supposed to stay out here all day, but I don't know if I can, because like I said, I'm soaked. I'll see how long it takes to dry this stuff out. One of these 1-pound tanks on low lasts like a little over 6 hours. So that should put me like 1 o'clock. So we'll see how that goes. I may sneak out of here and go back to camp and change clothes. But I'll see what he wants to do. Today is basically his first, like, all-day sit. He got here yesterday and he sat in the afternoon, didn't see nothing. But no, had a spill in the ditch this morning crossing. You can laugh about it, but I had to laugh because what are you gonna do? I mean, stuff happens. So, but stick with me. I'll give a report in a little while. This is my view. I got a swamp to the right, a big ridge to the left, and there's a runway just on the outskirts of them pines there. So, and it's going up towards the ridge over there. So, and then about almost a mile straight north of me is where Paul's at. Oh, it's a nice spot back in here. So, we'll see what happens. See how long I can stick it out being soaked. Yeah, you gotta laugh. At the time it wasn't funny. I'm lucky I didn't get hurt. So, when you're deer hunting, you don't know what can happen. Well, it's 9:45. Stuff's drying, but it's taking a while. So I think I'm gonna head in at about 11:30. Because I don't think stuff's gonna be dry, even with this heater going. I mean, dry enough, but I mean, stuff's drying, but I'm still soaked. And if I run out of propane, I'll probably start getting real cold. So I don't want hyperthermia setting in. Ain't worth it. So, haven't seen nothing yet. But looks like the sun's starting to come out. It's a beautiful morning. Except for falling in the creek. I mean, you gotta laugh about it, I guess. Shit happens. So, I was just checking in. Paul said he hasn't seen nothing. He just sent me a text message. So, yep, clothes are drying, but I think it's going to be a long process that I don't think will get done sitting out here. So, anyway, stick with me. We'll talk to you soon. Well, I just got back to the stand. I went and changed. Got out of the wet clothes. Got some dry stuff on. The heater was working, but it dried some of my stuff, but the clothes on my body weren't getting dry, and there's just no way I could have made it. So it's, let me see, 10-1 right now. The wind has picked up big time, so we'll see what happens. Paul's still out. He stayed out. Just talked to him. He hasn't seen nothing. So, anyways, I'm going to stick it out till dark and see what happens. Well, it's 5:15. It's going to be dark here pretty soon. I'm just going to pack my stuff up. And, well, I can still see in the blind. I didn't see nothing. But tomorrow's another day. Meeting Paul on top of the ridge at dark. Head back to camp. We gotta run to the store and do a few things there and come back and gonna cook some barbecue chicken on the grill for dinner. A little bit of potato salad. So, eating mighty fine up at deer camp as always. So, we'll talk to you back at camp later tonight. Well, good morning, guys. This don't look like no hunting blind. I got all the way out to the spot where we park and realized I left my clip and my bullets back at the cabin. So we got a fresh 1.5 2 inches of snow. A hell of a morning to be out. And I go to get my gun and all that. Had my gun and my clip and bullets were at the cabin. Now, when I'm done hunting every night up here, I leave all my stuff in the truck because I don't like to bring my gun from cold to hot cabin and hot cabin to cold, so I just leave it in the truck. So I did that. I brought my gun in only to clean it because, as you know, yesterday I fell in that creek and my gun got wet and my clip somehow got full of sand. So long story short, sorry about the bumpiness. I brought all that in last night and cleaned it, brought the gun back out to the truck, and got all the other stuff ready to go this morning. And we get out to the spot and I don't have my clip and bullets. Unbelievable. When it rains, it pours. Yesterday it's falling in the creek, getting soaked. Today I'm forgetting my clip. And so I dropped Paul off and he went in. So I'm on my way back now. It's a 5-mile trip, round trip from there back to the cabin. So it's 7:45 right now. I'm hoping to be in the stand by 8:15. I'm hoping, if I don't take a spill in the creek like yesterday. But no, that's why I didn't do anything from the blind this morning, because I am not in it, in my truck. So we will I'll touch base with you from the blind. Well, I made it in the blind. It's a gorgeous morning out there. The sunrise and them clouds to the north. They're getting more snow up that way. But yeah, after leaving my bullets and clip back at the cabin, and I got in here about 15 minutes ago. So it's just an awesome morning out with the snow. A lot of fresh tracks and the 2-track coming back here. So we just sit here at about noon, and then I'm going to meet Paul on the ridge up there, and we're going to go back to the truck, and I brought this Coleman stove out with me. We're going to cook some soup out there at the truck instead of going back to the cabin. So anyway, just a beautiful morning. My truck's at 25 degrees when I just stopped. So, but no, it's not supposed to get above 30. So we'll talk to you later. Well, guys, it's 10:30, and we still haven't seen nothing. But it's just a gorgeous morning out there. You'd think something would walk by with this fresh snow, but we haven't seen nothing. But they're really getting the snow north of us by the looks of them clouds up there. It's dark. That's usually the case. They'll get, because I'm just south of the snow belt, they'll get snow up there, and they get some deer moving because they start migrating. And once they start getting a lot of snow up there, we usually start seeing deer when the weather's bad north of us. They'll start coming. So saw something over there about snow falling off a tree. But there's no wind. It's calm as can be out. Temperature's probably about the same. So I just texted Paul. He hasn't seen nothing. He did come across I think he said 4 sets of fresh tracks on his way in this morning. But so I don't know. We'll see. This spot we had high hopes for so far is not high hopes. But you never know. Next time I talk to you, we'll be at the truck having soup on the grill or on the Coleman stove. So, talk to you soon. Well, I just got back in the blind. Having lunch out at the truck. Well, yeah, I wanted to do that for a long time, but usually everybody that comes up wants to go back to the cabin for lunch. So we used to do that years ago when my dad was hunting with us. Bring that Coleman stove right out to the woods and cook chili or whatnot. But the temperature's climbing. My truck said it was 38. It's doing the same thing it did opening day. All that snow is disappearing fast. So, but we got back out. We split up. Paul went to his spot, and I think I'm going to hunt this one tonight, and then part of tomorrow, the early hunt, the morning hunt, and then I'm going to the ridge I call Bear Ridge, where I still hunted the other day, and we're supposed to get a southwest wind, and I'm going to put a blind up over there in the only spot I found. I need a southwest or any kind of south wind to hunt it. So I'm on the north side of the runway there on the ridge. Like I said, I found a spot, and I'm going to put a blind up there and hunt there the next 3 or 4 days. That's the plan anyway. I don't want to leave Paul hanging, but yet that spot is on the way to this spot. So I figured he could just drop me off there, and he can continue on, because the way it sounds, he wants to keep hunting where he's at, which is no big deal. I mean, I've 2 or 3 days at one spot's enough for me if I'm not seeing nothing. And I seen a coyote here last night that I think Paul jumped, because as soon as I seen him, it wasn't 10 minutes later, Paul was up on the ridge waiting for me. So, and he came down the ridge from where Paul just came from. So I'm pretty sure Paul spooked it, because it was on a run. Then it stopped and looked back, and then continued on into those pines over there. But I don't have no internet service, so I can't really check the weather. So I've tried to get a text out to some people to go on AccuWeather and check for the winds for the next few days. So, but anyway, we're back out here till dark. So we'll talk to you later. comes. Just cooking lunch out here out in the woods. You a maker? Cabbage soup. Pretty neat idea, eh?
Good suntan out there today.
Yeah. I thought for sure we'd see something. Careful when you slam that if you shut it, because that camera ain't on there too good.
Okay. What a beautiful morning. Good Lord.
Yeah, there was a bunch of fresh tracks after I dropped you off to go get my bullets. Now, where were those tracks at you saw back there?
Kind of between me and you.
Oh. Like fresh from this morning, they were.
I've learned that lesson before.
What's that?
Don't kick back and in.
Wow. I shot a deer probably a good mile or two from my blind. I just fell in this swamp,
You do a whole segment on falling in the water.
and there she lays. A big ass doe. Yep. They had doe permits up here this year, and I got one. I had 3 of them coming, 3 good sized ones come in. And she didn't know what I was. I was looking at her through the blind, through the mesh window on the blind. And then she turned, and I said, now or never. But we've gone a long way chasing her. And we caught up to her. And I just fell in this muck again. Unbelievable. It's all worth it now, though. All right, we got the doe out of the marsh, way back in there. We tracked it for over 2 miles through stuff all like this. When I shot, she turned and my shot hit her leg right there. I know that's disgusting. But I also got a shot on the other side that obviously wasn't fatal right away because we had lung blood. But she's pretty good size. So they had a doe drawing this year for up here in the UP, and I got picked. They handed out 1,000 doe permits, and I got picked for one of them. So I'm pretty happy. That's 2 deer. See how she goes after this. I may sleep in tomorrow. See what happens. But Paul went back to the truck to get the sled to tow this out. And I'm gonna do the fun part, taking care of her. So stay tuned. Talk to you later.